You are tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon at bringingdowntheband.com and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, and Printfinity. Support the New Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
Episode 71, the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. I make beats. I have the hard drive to prove it, and I do want that smoke for anybody that's out there trying to get that action. Directly in front of me, the one and only Lonegevity, Maestro at Bringing Down the Band.
What's going on?
I'm good, sir. In the corner, Printfinity's finest and his own, DJ Jay Diff.
Salutations.
Best DJ y'all don't know,
How
but
you
you
living?
will. I'm living good, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
You went to Hillman?
You know what? I grew up on Hillman.
Word?
Yeah, I grew up on Hillman. Denise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pivotal point in
Pivotal.
history, cultural history.
A young man's life is just, you know, who did you like on that show?
Oh, yeah.
I was a Kim Reese fan.
Yeah.
Kimberly Reese was cold.
Yeah, man.
And that goes against
Freddie.
Jay Moore's bias.
Yeah.
But Kimberly Reese was cold.
Nah,
Speaking of Jay Moore's bias, the voice of the people, Mr. Wavy, light-skinned girls be loving me now.
See, that's who likes me. I'm talking about who I liked.
Fair enough.
Okay.
We still,
But like I said, I like them all skin tones and hair textures, so don't get the game messed up.
I feel you. Well, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, episode 71, New Old Heads podcast. As always, well, actually, as of recently, Michael Anthony's producing in the building. Y'all check out Red August. That boy's cold at what he does. He's
got them
us.
angles.
Yeah, he got them angles. He's helping us with the angles. So
Yeah.
y'all
Real professional.
Y'all support my man. He's good at what he does. He's helping us out on the team. So we appreciate you, my brother. Moving on. Let's go ahead and jump in. CNN, this is not about 45. So everybody just take a deep breath.
Calm down. Calm down.
This is not there you go. Yeah. It's not about 45.
Deep side.
Middle school teacher secretly ran a white supremacist podcast. She said it was satire. So this is per CNN. Her name was...
Oh, it was satire now?
That's what she said. This is per Diana Voltage, and I probably messed that name up.
That's okay. We don't need to get her name right.
Fuck her name.
All right.
I can interject.
Yes.
She had a couple names.
If I got caught on a white supremacist podcast and I was a teacher, I might say it was satire too.
Fair enough. Point taken.
That's the I got hacked when when
they hacked
you
my...
start going wild on Twitter. It's like, I got hacked. Yeah,
fair enough,
sure you did.
Like I didn't send all those pictures in the DM. I got hacked.
No, that wasn't me.
Yeah. Fair enough. That works for me. She's a social studies teacher in Crystal River Middle School in Crystal River, Florida. Online, she was known as 𝗀𝗲𝗄 𝗢𝗲𝗋, I guess is what it is.
I don't think it was Tiana, though.
That don't sound right.
She said 𝗀𝗲𝗄, though. It's listed as 𝗀𝗲𝗄 on CNN. 𝗀𝗲𝗄 is what she went by. That's a pseudonym. She's a host for a white supremacist podcast called Unapologetic, and the voice behind a Twitter account riddled with racist and anti-Semitic posts. In a statement through her attorney, Voltage confirmed that she was the one speaking as 𝗀𝗲𝗄 on the podcast, but claimed her comments were political satire and exaggeration, and the persona was a hobby.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Did it say that in the description of the podcast anywhere?
10 times out of 10, nah, bruh.
TBL.
Said that. Yeah.
TBL.
And here's the thing, and the irony is we talked about not mentioning going down the road of 45, but I can't help but say this is the type of person 45 wants to get that thing to in the classes. I just don't understand it. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
I was confused when he said give that thing.
Same thing. I was like, what you talking
y'all.
about, man? Remember, we talking about 45.
Yeah,
it could
45
go a whole
might
bunch
try
of
to
ways.
give her that thing also, but
that heat.
Yeah, but
Wait.
the heat, we'll use heat. I ain't gonna say that thing because he's savage enough to try to give her that thing. But yeah, man. So that's the first thing, Jay Diff, that came to my mind was these are the type of people that you want to arm in our school systems. To that you say what, sir?
To that I say pretty much the same thing we were saying last week when it's not a good idea.
At all.
And for her to sit there and pretty much just say that was satire,
that's bullshit.
That's all the way complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody knows that. You just got caught.
I think she should get the fuck shit bell for that because that's
the whole,
blatant fuck shit.
Yeah, it's all the way fuck shit. I don't understand how people always apologize when they get caught.
Period.
You almost would get more respect if you keep it real.
Just keep it a
Let
buck.
us know what's really on your mind.
Yeah.
Tell us, maybe we can direct you in another place.
Yeah.
But coming up with excuses as to why you on that fuck shit all the time,
Yeah.
I'm not going.
She just got caught. Period.
Yep. That's
Jay
exactly
Moore,
what happened.
jump in.
Well, the thing is, of all the episodes that we've done, I think we got a little bit of backlash when we got on that little ugly boy, who was
For the record, what were we calling him?
Who's
2%.
2%
Ham and milk
yeah,
boy.
we got ham and milk boy.
2% in glaze.
2% glaze.
Yeah,
ham and milk.
2%
2%
glaze.
glaze.
And where people were like, "Oh, that's wrong." That wasn't satire. That was just us being us.
Yeah,
and
no,
that's-
that was real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
none of
We might
what
have had
we
a
do.
disclaimer,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
We meant that shit.
we
though.
meant that shit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We talked about his mama and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
and we didn't back down from any of that. But
No.
just on a to take this in another way,
Shout out to Tom Petty. We won't back down.
we will not back
Wow.
down.
I see you.
God bless the dead.
Rest in peace. Go ahead.
When we talk about where institutional racism, people, when people try to say, "Oh, well, why you guys talk about racism and
Yeah.
the what happens as far as things going on in the world and how racism impacts them," people think because we always joke, "Oh, well, racism ended in 1964." People think, "Oh, well, since there are no more crosses being burned and people consider lunch counters,
There are.
that racism is over." Well, see, the thing is, those people who had on those hoods, they traded those hoods for teacher certificates.
Wow.
And in some cases, let's just keep it real because we're finding this out more and more. They traded those hoods for badges. A lot of them had badges to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Because let's just be real, it wasn't that long ago that the Klan and a lot of police departments worked in concert. When you talk about the incident that happened in Chicago, Fred Hampton.
Yep.
The Chicago Police Department and the FBI worked in concert
Yeah.
to assassinate Fred Hampton. So the racism doesn't have to be this thing where it's these boogeymen of racism, the flaming crosses and the the white hooded sheets. I'm less worried about that than the people who work inside of systems.
Plainclothes people every day.
Teachers, doctors,
Teachers,
politicians.
doctors, people who work on determining congressional districts, who are working polling stations. Those are the people that have infiltrated a certain level of just regular life that we have to be on the lookout for.
I think people are.
So when we see this, once again, people get so surprised when things like this happen.
Yeah.
I'm never surprised when things like this happen.
I think people are naive to think that if you come from I'm not gonna say technically it would be if you come from a background that was, we'll say, heavy racist or racism, or you grew up around it, or you were exposed to it. We'll say, I'm not gonna say you are going to follow in that lead, but there's a good chance that maybe 50-50. I don't know what the percentage would be, but if you're exposed to something like that for so long, there's a chance that's going to continue.
Right.
Even as you get older and you grow and you mature, like those principles are still in your mind somewhere. To me, now that could be wrong. I'm not trying to speak for anybody's upbringing. I'm going from the outside looking in.
Right.
To me, if you're around that, you're exposed to that for so long, I just feel like some of those principles, if they go away, they're still going to be back there. Do you think that would be fair, Lone, or to say?
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be parts of you that's going to that were formed as a child that's gonna go with you into an adult.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Yep.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's not just that. I mean,
And it's learned behavior as well.
And it's learned, and
Agreed.
then once it becomes learned and becomes standard, then it's harder to get to. In my opinion, it's harder to break away from, because that's where what's the term, I don't know. I don't remember what it's called because I can't remember it right now. But it's learned behavior that
When you're
throughout time and then
indoctrinated.
it's
I like that.
I forget what it's called exactly, but yeah, indoctrinated to it, and then you just perceive that as reality. That becomes your reality.
I actually have an
And-
example of that. If you were finished,
Yeah, go ahead.
Please share.
Try to think of
So-
that term.
I have a friend that's a teacher, and she's black. She teaches all races of kids, and she told us a story about a like 6 or 7 year old child who's a young white child in her class, and she has times where she like, what should we talk about right now, or do y'all have any questions or things like that? Pretty much opens up the floor to the students.
Okay.
And this young kid, he said, why do you always only talk about black stuff?
Mm.
And she said, like, can you give me an example, or listen to black music, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, what do you mean by black music? He was like, well, you never listen to country or things like that. So immediately when she's telling me this story, I'm thinking to myself, this is something that he went home and he's telling his parents about his day and what goes on. So this is what really got me. She goes, he then says, how come you never talk about how good of a job that President Trump is doing?
Wow.
A 7-year-old is saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder where they got that from.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't care how smart your child is.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really concerned with you upping the president and making him look like he's this saint or whatever.
And
Okay.
how
regardless.
how would your child know that not listening to country music
Yeah.
is listening to black music?
Right.
You know, why would you?
Right.
How would you even make those inferences?
Because she actually says she mixes it up. So it's pretty much never country, but
Yeah.
she'll take requests from the kids, and she listens to gospel music, and she might sprinkle in like some R&B or pop music for the most part. But
Mhm.
That's dope that she keeps it.
yeah,
But
know
just
what
the
I'm saying?
fact that it's
Versatile.
not country music
right,
is just it's inferred that she's listening to black music.
right.
Facts.
So that's very, once again, 7-year-olds, like, because like when I was a kid, yes, I was, I grew up in a black household,
Mm-hmm.
but surrounded by a white neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we talked about it a little bit later, but I liked what was being played. It didn't peak in my mind until later.
Right.
Okay, this is in this category, this is in that category.
Right.
And I think it's less like that now today when, because this is in the 80s, early 80s, when MTV still wasn't even running any, much less hip hop, any black music at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so now everything is out there. So for this young 7-year-old to think, okay, because you're not playing country, you're playing black music.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When it's probably the top 40 of everything that's going on.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't his thoughts.
Yeah, it's especially to say, why aren't you talking about how good of a job that President Trump is doing?
That right
That's
there is
complete bullshit.
that's
That
complete.
one,
Yeah.
that one for
bullshit.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
If that
Because
isn't
what is-
telling, I don't know.
Because what
is.
does a 7-year-old really care?
right.
right.
These are conversations that he's having at home.
I guess
Kids are impressionable. Though.
I
They
could-
don't-
Definitely.
I
You know
could
what I'm
I
saying?
could see a white kid going into a class and hearing music that maybe he's used to hearing Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin and you know what I mean, like the
Right,
maybe
right.
70s rock or something
Mhm.
like
that
that.
makes sense versus the Trump shit, though.
Yeah, those are two completely different
Yeah.
things.
Right.
But I can see that coming in and then hearing something like Earth, Wind, and Fire and be like, well, this is different.
This is
Yeah.
you
this
know,
is
like,
not what I listen to at home.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. Nino had him out there bad, man. Sorry about that.
cognitive dissonance was the word I was.
Okay,
Oh,
there
I
we
like
are.
it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. All right, well, either way, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Dope story though. By the
But
way,
once again, not surprised.
Yeah.
Satire, no, that's what you meant.
she's
Yeah.
definitely on bullshit with the satire.
You know.
and
Yeah,
expand.
man.
Because if it was satire, you'd have used your real name.
Exactly. Like, and her name was so similar
Yeah,
to her real name, and
come on, man. Come on, man. Exactly.
yeah.
Let's go ahead and jump into some music. Shout out to South Memphis, North Memphis. Did I leave out? Oh, East Memphis and
Just Memphis, man.
All of Memphis, man.
Yeah, man.
all of Memphis.
We
Okay.
don't. We
Shout out
want,
to Memphis.
We
All-
want all love coming out of Memphis,
You
man.
don't want Crunchy Black
Nope.
coming up here.
You know,
Black
shout out
Youngster,
to
none
shout
of
out to
them.
Project Pat,
Yeah, 8-Ball
LaChat.
MJG.
All of them.
LaChat. Wow.
Player Fly,
Okay.
everybody down in Memphis.
Yeah.
We fool
Skinny
with y'all.
Pimp.
We just
Kingpin, Skinny Pimp. Yeah, man.
We're just gonna do Memphis. I'm gonna do Memphis from now on. So let's talk about some music. Shout out to Memphis. So Rick Ross was in the news, obviously, because he was hospitalized. There's a spin on this as well, which we'll get to. But this is, I don't think this. No, this is not TMZ. This is, yes, it is TMZ. Well, I don't even, you know how they are. But it says good news after spending 4 days in the hospital. Rick Ross has been released. He's back at home. The Miami rapper was released early this morning, which was the 5th. Reports said TMZ were, I guess he's going to be getting in-home care moving forward. It was reported that he was found unresponsive on March 1st in his home, and this was called around 3:30. The person on the line was describing the rapper as slobbing from the mouth and breathing heavily earlier that night.
Ugh. I didn't mean nothing by that.
Sorry, I feel you. It's all good.
Talking to the mic.
He was rushed to the hospital where he allegedly received
Thanks for making me have to edit that,
treatment and possible pneumonia. Lone actually called pneumonia earlier. So, here's the thing. First of all, we don't want to see anybody sick.
No, I hope he gets well
in the hospital or battling anything like that. There were rumors that were coming out speaking to him being on life support. I heard some everything, like from multiple sources that were probably trash. But he is home from what we just read, and might have been with the pneumonia situation. That's dope because I was hearing life support. He ain't gonna make it. We don't know how long it is, and some of his artists like Fat Trail, I think this is one of the artists that's on Maybach. He's out from DC. He was like, no, I talked to him, he's good. And then you hear his daughter come on and say he's good, and then somebody else comes on and say, no, he's not making it. We don't know. So in the internet age, what the hell? What do we know in terms of what we're actually getting? But it's dope that he's, you know what I'm saying, back home.
Definitely.
And recuperating, because if you
Shout
think
out
about
to
it,
Ross.
yeah, I always tell people, even if you're not the hugest or biggest fan of someone, we don't want to wish bad on anyone. You know
Not like that.
Yeah, like it's not that serious. I saw people clowning about it and joking. I'm like, nah, I'm cool on that, because we talking about, what was then a life or death situation. So I ain't even go down that route. So hopefully Ross gets better. I think he's been working on Port of Miami too. So I think that was his first album, so he's doing a sequel for that. So it'd be good to hear how that comes out. Always picks dope production. You know what I'm saying? He always get laced.
His production is nice.
Yeah. So
you cannot take that away.
At all. He knows how to pick beats. So I'd be curious to hear how that sounds. So get well to Ross, but there was something else foolish that happened.
Yeah.
Jay Diff. Go ahead and
all right, so my whole thing is, what exactly equates to beef, and like how serious are you when it comes to that? And I'm speaking on in general, like with rap artists or whatnot, because 50, everybody seen the picture he posted. There wasn't a caption or anything added. There was just a picture of
Ivan Drago.
Yeah, Ivan Drago from
Rocky 4.
Rocky 4. Everybody knows what he said.
Yes, sir.
If he dies, he dies. So my whole thing is, like, is that real? Like, is he really beefing with Ross to the point where he really is wishing on his downfall,
right,
or not really concerned either way? Or is it just him sticking to his rap character or whatnot? Because I know him and not Ja Rule. I mean, they're still going at it,
right?
But him and Fat Joe were going at it heavy, and now they're actually cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got cool after Chris Lighty passed away.
Chris Lighty's death kind of brought them together to squash that nonsense,
because they were all through the Violator family.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, how deep does that beef go between 50 and Rick Ross for him to wish that on him? Because I thought it only had to do with a girl or
I thought it was
baby
just some
mama. Yeah.
I thought it was some minor league rap shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the thing with him and Ja, that's never going away.
Nah, that's not going anywhere.
That's street
He took
shit.
money out of his pocket.
Like, that is
that's a different level.
That's something else. But industry beef, I always feel like after a certain amount of time, it just has to expire.
Let it go.
It's like, are we really still talking about this?
He really could have took the high road and went in and just squashed it.
Or he could have just not said anything at all.
Or he could have not. Exactly.
It's just like, your mom would say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, 50 doesn't really seem to subscribe to that at all, and that's kind of how he stays in the news. But for all the stuff 50 has done, I was like, this is easily the most tasteless.
Yeah, it's real low.
Even when it would be like the beef between, Power and what's the show? Empire.
Yeah.
Like that just seemed like some industry stuff. Like
Right.
it was, I'm cursing more than usual when I got my headphones on, but
Yeah.
We
forgive
see
me.
you.
Because
We
you can
see
hear
you.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good. But so I'm trying to keep it on the level for the viewers.
We appreciate the passion, brother.
But I'm just saying, it's like there's certain things. Okay, if you don't like this person or you had some issue over a girl, okay, it is what it is. Or if it's a couple dollars or a song that was made, and that seemed to be all it was with Rick Ross and 50. You can leave that alone.
Yeah, because honestly, right now, 50's career is not about his music right now.
At
At
all.
No.
At all.
It's about power. It's about he's got a movie, Den of Thieves, which is I heard is pretty good. It's not about his music.
Yeah.
So what is he doing?
When's the last time he had a, we'll say, relevant project? Anybody?
Relevant.
Animal Ambition, was
Before
that
I-
relevant?
No.
What is that?
Exactly.
I've never liked 50, so
He's
I don't
consistent.
know.
Since
Yeah,
I've
he's
known him, he's
consistent.
never liked him.
But so that's my whole thing. It's like, look, if it's some street stuff,
So was their thing?
then that is what it is. But I
So-
always thought it was over a girl or some disagreement.
Yeah.
Honestly, it wasn't any deeper than Fat Joe and his beef. I didn't
I
think it was
see.
any deeper than now. Okay, because Rick Ross's baby mom did sue him for putting out a tape
Yeah.
on This Is 50. It did hit him in the pocket, something serious. That whole that could be part of it. But at the same time, that's not even Ross. That's
that's not him.
So honestly, for you to wish death on somebody, like I honestly think, even as ridiculous as Tupac was with the hit 'em up,
yeah, he wasn't wishing death.
but at the same time, Tupac was 24 when he wrote that.
Well, Big
Like-
even said it in an interview when all of that was going on. He was saying we got our differences, but I don't wish death on anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you can, 50 Cent is a grown. 50 Cent is in
is
his
this
40s.
Is this
Jump
wishing
in, yeah,
death?
jump in.
I mean, when you say if he dies, he dies.
I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't care.
Well,
But to
maybe-
have to go out of your way to
That-
do that,
well, that was-
Find a picture and then be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put this. I know I got millions of followers.
That
I'm gonna
was
put this out there.
so that was my question, because I haven't paid attention to this at all outside of the fact that Rick Ross was sick. So they had past beef apparently.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so that's a little bit different. So he went out of his way to post a picture and to say if he dies, he dies.
well, he
Basically.
didn't even add the caption. It's just that picture.
But you just know
But
that's
we
part
knew
Ivan
with that
Draco
Rocky
looking down at Rocky on the map,
saying
pretty
if
much.
he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
Not Rocky.
Apollo
Creed.
Creed.
Yeah.
So was there
Michael B. Jordan, daddy.
So what was
Yeah.
the reference to? Where was the reference to Rick Ross in it?
Because in that actual
It was within like the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
When everyone found out that Rick Ross was in the hospital and people thought he was on life support.
I see. So,
so when he put the
so
drop,
he wasn't watching Rocky.
no,
Nah.
this is definitely this is definitely about Ross.
It was
no
a-
question.
it was a
about
shot.
Yeah, it was a shot. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can see the phrase like if he dies, he dies. If somebody's like asking you in an interview and you're just like, I don't know this guy or I don't talk to him,
No.
Based
it's-
off based
I
off
mean, I
their,
guess kind of not really, but still.
but based off their
yeah,
history.
even if you didn't know him.
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole.
perhaps.
I mean, if he dies, he dies. I mean,
This is the picture that was posted.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I mean, you don't even have to say what
Everybody knows
Like,
Apollo
everybody
Creed
knows.
dies. Yeah,
we know
everybody
what it
knows
is.
what that
We know what it
means
is.
when
Yeah.
you see that.
I mean, I didn't, but
You know, you've seen Rocky.
I have.
before.
But I didn't catch the reference.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I seen that picture,
I was
like I said, there's no caption there, so I already know what he's implying.
I
Right
fool
there.
with Rocky
Yeah.
though, so
But 50's been known to do some sucker type stuff like that
He
before.
has.
So
he has. I think it falls right in line with some 50 shit. Like it
yeah.
doesn't.
I mean, honestly,
It falls
yeah.
right in line. You know what I'm saying? It falls right in line. So,
Okay.
for me, it's a little too far for me. I wouldn't have done no shit like that.
Yeah,
But
It just
what
seems
is the limit? Do you think? So when it comes to rap
beef.
or whatnot,
I think all
'cause
beef is corny. But
it is, but in sometimes it creates good music, and I will say that about
Talking about people's kids, I think that's always been a law.
yeah, that's
going on the
low.
line.
But the Jay-Z Nas beef created some good projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it not?
But at the same time, when
They
they actually
reconcile.
saw each other, it was like, Nas tells the stories like when I saw Jay, and he said it was right after his mom's passed, and he said Jay came up to him, and the first thing he said, "Are you good?"
Yeah.
And
see, that's real shit
to
though.
them. And he said whatever animosity I had in my heart towards Jay-Z was over because, for whatever was said on record, the first time I saw him after that, he asked me about my mother. Because at the same but Jay will tell you this is just rap music. Like I never thought, with Jay-Z and Nas, anyone was ever gonna die.
But that's that's two grown men though. That's grown
yeah,
men
but 50
with a
Cent
mutual
is a
respect.
grown man
But
too.
they have a mutual respect that Rick Ross and 50 don't.
Did they
Like,
then? I don't know.
I
mean,
think Hov and Nas have a mutual respect that these two don't.
I mean, we know
think
that
they
now.
did,
I
but-
just don't like. I never thought because with Big and Pac, I remember that feeling dangerous.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard "Hit 'Em Up." I remember saying
I agree.
to a friend of mine, I was like, somebody might die behind this.
Yeah,
Like I
agree.
remember saying that out loud.
Yeah.
But
that shit was mean.
But with
true.
Ether and the Takeover, I was like, this is just like just like I never thought that LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee were actually gonna might shoot each other if they saw each other.
Hell, him and Cannabis. Like I knew that wasn't
Like,
gonna be. It's
I
just
just
lit,
thought
it's
this.
just
I was
bars.
like, this is just rap music.
Yeah,
this is
it's
fun
rap.
beef and rap music. Like, it went somewhere else when it was Big and Pac, and then I really thought with Ja Rule and 50, that was something else. It wasn't like these guys really didn't like each other.
No, they really didn't.
And
like each other.
then
Facts.
Still don't.
Still
yeah,
don't.
and to this day. And then when you talk about, like I said, I never thought it was that deep between 50 and Rick Ross to where it would get to the point where you're talking about, I don't care if he basically saying if he dies, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like for you to say that about anybody, especially somebody who got a family he's supporting and kids.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man.
Nas and Jay to me was all about. I'm trying to one up you lyrically. I'm gonna put the.
That's exactly
I'm
what
gonna
it was
expose
about.
you, but it's really about these bars. But I'm trying to show you I'm nicer than
It was
you.
about the
That's
music,
it.
and it was also about sales.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what
Like
I'm saying?
Kanye and 50 had. What was it? The Curtis album and versus Graduation. Is that what it
wasn't
was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That wasn't
that was-
even.
that
That was
was
all
just-
marketing.
Well, that was
about
all rap
all
music.
marketing.
That was
right?
all rap music.
It's all marketing. So these two actually, yeah, it's something. It ain't to the level of Ja Rule, but there's something there.
Once
There's
again,
But
definitely-
like, even
once
like
again,
real
that has
beef.
nothing to do with rap music.
At all.
Yeah, that's
At all.
But like when Royce 5'9" was beefing with
D12.
D12, that was real.
Yeah, because that was
they all
over.
came up together. I agree.
They did, but
You
they was really on some shit.
I agree.
then.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So when we know they squashed their differences and whatnot, and they actually came up in the same city.
Yeah,
So what would you say is off limits when it comes to that? Like, do you think it's just entertainment with 50 doing that, or is he serious?
I think 50 is more. I think 50, a part of him actually does not care, but I think a lot of it is his character, 50 Cent. Like, I think he's so far into being 50 Cent at this point. When you think 50 Cent, you think off the chain. If you beef with him, he's going to spare no expenses on your ass. Like, he's going to do whatever it takes to
Because he
embarrass
thrives
you.
off of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's just you said the character of 50 Cent. I think
Mm-hmm.
like the character
Exactly.
like Deadpool is a character
versus
like,
Curtis
yeah,
Jackson, like
Curtis,
the character of 50 Cent. Like, I believe that shit. Like, I think he actually believes in that and feeds that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
I don't know.
you don't think so?
I just think he just does it because he knows what's going to put his name in the light.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's what he's done consecutively.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's pretty much for entertainment.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
entertainment.
well there it is.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see.
But I also don't know their history, obviously. So I mean, and that's just from the outside looking in.
It's a little something there. I'd be curious to see what happens moving forward. I don't think Ross is gonna. I don't know though. Ross, we'll see. It'd be
I don't
interesting.
think
to see. I
Ross
don't
would
think he's
even
gonna pay too
respond.
much
At the end of the day,
attention to it.
just Rick Ross get better.
At the
You know
end
what
of the
I'm
day,
saying?
yeah.
I'm glad that he's home from the hospital. Like I said, I don't know him. I'm not huge into his music, but I don't want to see anybody, pass away prematurely, especially considering like he's trying to get his health together.
Lost mad weight.
Yeah, and
He
it's
lost
just
mad weight.
and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Talked about like
If
the Phonte
Pookie can
record.
get off drugs, you can too.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that. I like that.
Just like we talked about
Interactive.
the Phonte record about people taking care of themselves so they can be around for their kids.
So we definitely gonna get into that.
Yeah, man.
So this is per Yahoo.com, and we talked about this a little bit on a thread. Pioneer's latest DJ controller. It adds a push button for scratching. And this is vouched for by DJ Jazzy Jeff. The article reads, with advent to more powerful software and controllers, modern DJs really don't need to learn as much about spinning tracks as they used to. Now, this is just going into details about it. Now, beginners are treated with automatic cues, loops, and beat matching software that takes some of the art out of DJing. The latest bit of automation comes from Pioneer and its $249 DDJ SB3 DJ controller. The unit adds a pad scratch feature that gives aspiring club monsters the ability to imitate 8 different scratch techniques that were recorded by DJ Jazzy Jeff. Jay Diff, I'm coming to you, and I'm circling back to Jay Moore. Here's my thing. Now, DJ Jazzy Jeff posted a long post. I think it was on his Facebook page.
Yeah, he
Spoolz
responded.
shared it. He responded to it, basically saying, hey, I'm still for the culture. I'm still about evolving, but we have to understand things have changed. A lot of these kids are not that serious yet. They want to just learn to get their feet wet. They want to get the basics, feel what it's like to have, be able to scratch and mix and blend. But
I mean, you can't download practice.
you cannot download practice.
Shout out to the academics.
We see you. We see you. That's
There we
brilliant.
go. Like that. Promo.
We see you, DJ Metronome. But Terrence, as a DJ, someone who has practiced and honed your skills and become someone that can actually rock a party, you know what I'm saying, mixing and blending and matching and doing what y'all do, doing what you do at a high level. How do we feel about this, sir, moving forward?
All right, so we kind of addressed this a little bit when Slot was on the show.
Yep.
About the controller versus the turntables.
Shout out to Slade, Chi-Town. We see you,
Word.
Michigan. What up?
Revel Room was a nice time, by the way.
Okay.
But I'm not opposed to controllers. I am
Don't do it.
opposed to what Jazzy Jeff is saying, or his implications as far as having some pre-ready scratches or whatnot in a mixer. That's whack.
8 of them.
Yeah, that's whack. I cannot co-sign that at all, because you can still scratch on a controller.
Okay.
So if you've been taught and you know what you're doing, you can still scratch on there. But this is what messes me up about it. He and this is no diss to Jazzy Jeff. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. He has his own scratches that he's came up with.
Amazing DJ.
Yeah, hands down. He
And producer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The Magnificent.
So leading up to the release of this controller, he actually had a conversation with a group of fellas that was asking him about the controller.
Okay.
And that's when he went in to say that it's all about rocking the party and things of that nature, which made sense. But fast forward to this controller coming out, and he has 8 scratch techniques loaded into the controller. He got a check. So he's supposed to say something like that
Right.
at the end of the day, because they wrote him a check. So he says that, and then fast forward a month later, then this controller comes out with 8 scratches loaded into
Now,
it.
what he also said in his response was the reason why that was the case was so that they could play it, and then that they can emulate what's going on.
I mean,
that's
cool and all,
I'm
but
just
still,
throwing that out there.
If you want to give the kids the instruments in order to learn how to use them, don't give them a crutch. You give them training wheels, right?
Maybe give them the
And
scratch
then you remove
record.
the training wheels.
I like
Right.
that.
Right.
Give them the scratch record, maybe.
Yeah, so we all started out in school, 4th, 5th grade. We played a recorder before you could decide if you wanted to play a saxophone, a trumpet, a trombone, whatever.
Shout out to Hot Cross Buns.
Straight up,
Man.
you had to
I used
learn
to kill
how to
that
play
Twinkle,
pretty
twinkle,
much an
little
advanced
star.
whistle.
Yeah.
I
You know what I'm
killed
saying?
Hot Cross Buns.
Yeah.
You wasn't ready.
Hot Cross Buns.
Yeah,
Hot Cross Buns.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like 3 blind mice at the same
pretty
time?
much.
Yeah,
It was the
okay.
exact same.
Is that right?
tune. Yeah.
I don't remember what's next.
But nah, you had to learn how to play the recorder, and after that, you had to. All right, I think I'm ready to kind of step up. I think the same thing should be said as DJing. or implied in DJing. There's nothing wrong with getting a kid a $200 controller.
And it is only
And
like
allowing-
it is
yeah.
only like $250.
That's a cheap ass controller. I better
Yeah.
not see anybody in the club with that controller.
No, what's gonna happen?
Nah, that's just not a good look.
Fair
and
enough.
I don't want to see you scratching
Okay.
with pre-made scratches on that controller. If you can't scratch it, just don't scratch.
Right.
You know what I'm
if
saying?
So if you see anybody with the DJ Jazzy Jeff joint in the spot rocking out, scratching like a mug on the 8 scratches,
Hey,
we're gonna leave it at that.
no, I'm just going to invite Top Speed out
Mm-hmm.
and have him
I'd love to
son
hear
him.
what he thinks.
Yeah, because
Well,
he don't like controllers at all.
I wonder about, so is the button just, is it you play it and then
It'll
you
emulate
get-
whatever song you're playing.
Yeah.
It will do the scratch pattern on that song.
so on that song, so it's not like giving you like
Like a wave file that's a scratch.
that's like
Nah.
fresh, you know, like you have to take fresh
Right,
and do
right.
something
Nah,
I
like
don't think
that.
so. Yeah, I don't
It's
think
scratch.
so.
So that's taking the skill out of scratching.
Right. No, I
It's
actually,
kind
I
of
agree
similar
with that.
to, remember what was that fake ass DJ that had the little blade things?
oh, it was
and
like
he was-
yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
Grandmaster
that dude was
something.
it was a joke.
And
Yeah,
he
I
was
remember that.
what's funny about it, the irony of it is he was actually using a Jazzy Jeff scratch routine in that promo vid.
Mhm.
That's crazy, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not a DJ, so I
Like
defer.
Peter Piper or something.
I defer.
Yeah,
to
it was
pe-
that
Yeah,
scratch.
Yeah, it was
I
that.
defer to people to DJ. Brother Moore, you being a person that uses the golden voice in the spot frequently.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you have a take on this as well.
I do. See, the thing is, I don't have a problem with controllers because I
And
understand.
you're with a great DJ a lot.
yes.
Metronome.
Now the thing is, the people who I see play on controllers, I understand a lot of times it's a convenience thing
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have to. It's one singular piece, and you don't have to worry about ground wires and this, that, and the third. It's perfect for things like weddings, and
Definitely.
maybe if you're doing you're doing a show for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. I still feel like you need to leave that sync button alone.
Definitely.
That I feel like that's something that I can't respect the sync button, and I can't respect pre-made scratches because if you need to learn how to blend. Okay, if you have a controller, keep your hand off that sync button. Learn how to blend.
Straight up.
Okay.
I seen a DJ, not to cut you off, just
Okay.
real quick to add in. I seen a DJ last week that was pretty much trying to blend but didn't have headphones. And he must not have had his cue points on either because he was just throwing them joints in just because it said the same BPM.
Right.
It doesn't work like that either.
No, it doesn't. No. It doesn't work like that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see, the one thing that has to be really kind of passed down from DJ to DJ is the ability to scratch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There are people, there's many, disciples, if you will, of DJ Top Speed, who he showed them how to get down. And the thing is, Top Speed's hard on DJs because he wants you to do this well.
Right.
Facts.
But the thing is, he will show you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
When
he mentors all the time. He's got,
Exactly.
he's got somebody he's
Anybody-
mentoring now.
I'm there on Sundays, and he'll come through just to record something. Somebody's working, and they say, I'm working on this scratch. Top Speed is there to help you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And so when I hear about pre-made scratch techniques,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. Somebody just gets to know how to transform without putting in the work. They know how to do the crab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're not
just
opening
simple-
up the crossfader
and
or
just
nothing.
knowing how to chirp
Yeah.
without putting in the work, getting that
Mhm.
muscle memory together and learning how to do it on beat. You just get to press a button now.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that needs, if we're going to preserve anything outside of technology, something that's actually passed down from DJ to DJ generation. We've already lost the collecting vinyl. That's not going to be a thing anymore.
Mhm.
Okay.
It is, but I know what you're saying.
Not,
It's
not in the same manner.
Not on the same level at all.
It's not like where DJs had to hustle and get the money up so they could buy 2 singles of the hottest
Right.
joint or whatever is
Right.
out. You got the MP3 or you downloaded it from wherever you downloaded it from. You got the song, and everybody has the hottest songs right now. But I'm talking about that is part of just the essence of hip hop that I don't think should have been sold. And the thing is, DJ Jazzy Jeff is the god. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's only so much I can say about but I feel like here's where I can say he's wrong. I thought he was super right when he's talking about, hey, whatever tool you're using to rock a party, rock a party.
Right.
But
That
to
made
give
sense.
that part away, the scratch, I think it's foul.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I value you guys' opinions when it comes to the DJ craft, metronome, top speed. So the Spoolz, because you guys have done it, like you get it.
And I've seen, especially like Spoolz. Like when I used to go over to his crib, like after I'd get off of work when he was still living downtown, and like after work he'd be putting in a couple hours just working on the scratch.
Oh, yeah.
On his craft, just working on his craft.
And like
Yeah.
now you're gonna say, oh, all you gotta do is press a button now.
Yeah.
Nah, I
So
can't.
what-
I can't honor that.
So what I'm hearing from you all is pretty much a consensus from you guys, as well as I think Metronome made a post about it. We'll throw Spoolz in as well. I haven't had a chance to speak to Top Speed yet, but I'm assuming what he would say.
Top Speed didn't even want to use Serato.
There we go.
So
Yeah, it took him from a minute to even buy a laptop.
Speed only uses waves.
There you go.
Let's
yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
in
He
there.
won't
Okay.
even use an MP3.
So what we're saying is the experience, that experience
Got like a
of,
sex tape going on in the background.
Hey, first of all,
Hey, this movie was in the theater.
this is a classic scene in New Jack City.
side note,
There are lots of,
Uniqua?
there are lots of movies in the
That was
theater.
that was the girl's name. Her name was Uniqua. I always thought that was funny.
Side note, y'all didn't see it, but in the previous segment where we talked about Rick Ross, Jay Moore was eyeing Nino's girlfriend because she light skinned.
What?
You didn't see it though. He was looking at it like
Yeah.
Shout out
side
to
eye.
Michael Michelle. She is a fine actress.
Yeah, yeah.
I can dig it.
Been in
Uniqua was about that
Homicide,
action though.
Life on the Streets.
I'm sorry, but
I still
As
remember.
I-
Star
I
that.
still
as I
remember when this
digress.
came on.
I remember
Came out, and I hate to take us away from the subject,
We
but
already
it's
gone.
funny because like the Ninja Turtles movie came out at the same time this came
Wow.
out,
Yeah.
and so
shout out to April O'Neil.
I
We
remember
see
my dad or somebody dropped me and my homeboys off at the movies,
you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we paid to go see Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
but we was sneaking in to New Jack City, going
Right.
back to Ninja Turtles.
yeah.
That was the only way we could go in there to see it because
Yeah.
we wasn't old enough. But go ahead with your story. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying like this is. But I did see Jay Moore peeping.
Hey, once again,
Nino's wife.
shout out to.
I ain't judging him though.
Exactly. As well, you shouldn't.
As I was saying, you guys are basically saying what everybody else is saying thus far. The experience of actually getting that tutelage and learning your craft is worth not going through the controller joint.
You're going to value
that's
the
what I'm
whole
looking for.
thing
Yep.
more.
Yep.
And that's part of the reason a lot of DJs don't respect certain aspects of the game.
Okay.
Is because if you've came up carrying crates and things like that,
Mhm.
Right.
then you're not going to necessarily respect somebody that for the most part doesn't respect the culture
Okay.
because you're removing elements. I understand advancing with technology and things like that, making things more manageable and a little easier.
It's
But
evolution. It's
should
gonna happen.
that's going to
It's gonna
happen. There should still be a skill set involved in that. And if you have preloaded scratches in your controller, that's just not good. I'm not going.
It's the same thing with music though. Like
I was getting ready to
things you
the
don't.
the
certain
skill
things you
level
just
in
don't
music is the
sell.
same thing.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good transition because I wanted to talk about something else that I've seen pop up recently,
Okay.
and it's related to this.
All right.
I've seen this conversation go around about how understanding the theory and formal education of music as a producer has no value,
That's stupid.
and that you don't need it to be a good producer. And at that aspect, I can understand where they're coming from now with being able to program.
Okay.
But how important would you say, growing up as, obviously in music, but then playing trumpet, obviously recorder, then trumpet and jazz, ensemble, marching, all that stuff into producing? How
Being
can,
a section leader.
how can you gauge the value?
See.
How can you gauge the value of actually going through that process and how that's impacted you as a producer now?
To me,
Because this is kind of related to that concept a little bit.
I think to me, I wouldn't have had it any other way. And the only reason I say that is because I hear, and you can attest to this as well. I hear certain things differently. Like even when it comes to chopping a sample up, there's a difference between chopping a sample up and just chopping it versus chopping the sample still in the progression of how the original song went.
Right.
Those are two totally different things. To me, you have to understand that that could be the difference between a B- beat and an A+ beat. It's just all about understanding how music goes. And I think, to me, in my opinion, I think that's valuable. Now, to your point, there's not a premium on talent anymore. Now everything is just microwave. It's quick.
Right.
Can you get that arpeggio, the 808, 1 synth, and we good.
And you can.
I made this beat in 15 minutes.
And literally in DAWs, you can, and the DAW meaning the program used to make the beat, you can program it
Exactly.
visually. You know, but and I agree that's still, you know, obviously technology has advanced, but there's something around understanding how to find major chords and minor chords through your ear and how to progress those and understanding how to communicate what you're doing with somebody else that I think is almost invaluable.
That's, to me, that's priceless.
Especially as a producer that wants to do more than produce in their bedroom.
You beat me. That's the point, because what will separate someone that would have, and I'm not trying to stunt, I'm just telling y'all the truth. In terms of having musical knowledge, I have that. He has that. So I understand music. I know what I'm talking about. I'm more than qualified to talk about actual music.
Right.
So those things are, when you branch out and you talk about the guy, I can't pronounce his name. I think his last name is Grossonman. It's Ludwig Gross something. The guy that scored Black Panther.
Okay.
I was so impressed because I saw a video of him, not the Kendrick album, I'm talking about the score.
The score, yeah.
I saw a video of him playing notes on Ableton, and then he talks about how he gets his person to turn it to sheet music and the actual chords, and he's talking about it, and I see the chords written down, and he's understanding it. I'm like, that's the difference between the microwave generation and somebody that can actually be brought on to score. Yeah, you can score a commercial here and there, but the guys that are brought out to score films, to score actually score films, those guys are different. They actually know music
because they understand the different chords and the different keys that are used for different emotion and different scenes.
Major key, minor key,
exactly.
You know, like
all of them. So this goes into the next part of that question. So, for example, the Ableton Push.
Yes.
It has a very cool feature where you can go to scales and you can scroll through them.
Yep.
And on there, once you go to a specific scale, it's got like all of them. I'm talking not just major and minor, but all the other nuanced ones. You can turn it to like a blues one, and all the notes are blues, so you don't miss any notes. But here's the thing. To me, that's different than the scratch thing, because it's not giving you anything. You still have to put stuff together.
You still have to manipulate it.
You still have to manipulate it. And that's the subtle difference. But at the same time, if you could push a button and it's an arpeggio that automatically does all these things and plays, to me, that's kind of similar to that.
Yes.
Everybody had those Casio, my first keyboards back in the day that would do that shit.
Pre-made stuff.
You wasn't making any beats on that, though.
They would actually, I used to flip them. I used to flip those on cassette tape. I'm sorry, I'm showing my age. I used to flip the joints. But when you used to click on those, it'd say B flat, F sharp, C minor. Like, you know what I'm saying, what they are. But to his point, it's like,
but you didn't know what those meant. You had to learn.
We had to learn that. Like, we had to learn how to read sheet music and music progressions and stuff like that. So, to Lone's point, I think it helps. It makes you more versatile. But in today's music scene, I don't think it's that valuable, because we're in a microwave generation.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I don't think it's ever going to get back to that.
I think
the point where everybody is
has to show skill.
Yeah, or trying to be musically inclined. Because I mean, you have a lot of kids that are going to school that aren't thinking about joining band. But they might have Fruity Loops or Ableton at the house.
True.
Yeah.
And they may be watching YouTube videos, figuring out how to make beats.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with
that.
But you have to separate the musician from the what's the word I'm looking for?
The artist,
the beat maker,
not even the artist or beat maker or the casual hobbyist. You know what I'm saying? It's different, because you may hit or have a few hits as the hobbyist or the beat maker.
Well, but depending on your knowledge, you're going to run into a level or a point no matter what you're doing, if we're talking about scratching or
Right.
anything, you're going to run into a point to where your skill set is only so far. So you
Exactly.
can only go so far.
There's a ceiling for that skill set.
If you
Right.
don't know how
Yeah.
to scratch and all you know how to do is push a button,
Yeah, that's only so far you're gonna be able to go with
yeah.
that.
you can't manipulate that any further.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so
And whereas a musician is in it for the love of making music,
right.
of constructing,
Making something from nothing.
exactly. Not I'm not even trying to say they're making symphonies or things like
But-
that. It's just a little more intricate and a little more you're paying attention more. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Like
Yeah.
I cringe when I hear, like for example, if I'm watching or my cousin told me, "Hey man, you should watch Black Youngster on Everyday Struggle." I'm like, all right, number one, why should I watch that? But I said, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and watch it because I stopped watching that Everyday Struggle ever since
But
Mouse
Yeah.
left.
Mm-hmm.
But so I watch it and then I hear academics.
well, Mouse is academics,
Yeah.
right?
No, Mouse is Joe Budden. That's what people used to call him Mouse. But
Oh, I
Oh,
got you.
okay. I was
I
thinking
missed that.
Badu.
Jerry from
Yeah.
from Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, that's what Badu called.
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyways,
academic.
yeah.
He said he looked like I don't know. You right though.
Yeah. Anyways,
But academics, this cornball, he's like, yeah. So you, Black Youngster, you being a musician. I'm like,
Calm down.
no.
That's not what that is.
Wynton Marsalis is a musician.
right.
Black Youngster's not a musician. Y'all can hate me and get mad.
No.
I could care less.
And let me
That's
say this
stupid
too.
to call Black Youngster a musician. He is not.
Let me say
Gucci is not a musician.
Nah,
he's
he-
an artist.
Yeah, he's a rap artist.
He's not a musician. So stop using the phrase musician.
Now Zaytoven
All of
is a
these-
musician.
All of these
He
people,
knows how to play piano. And all that
Exactly.
stuff. So yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Odyssey, would you say Odyssey's a musician?
Yeah,
I think
he's definitely
he is.
a musician.
Yes, he's a musician.
Let me add this
But he's
too,
a
though.
producer.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the difference between a producer and a beat maker as well. I mean, there's
Exactly.
subtleties. You know,
Let me add this to what you guys are saying. You layering a whole bunch of different sounds in the same track does not make you a musician either.
At all.
Just because you have a whole bunch of different sounds in there, because
yeah.
you really don't even need all that shit in there.
Not
If you
especially
know
not-
what you're doing,
Exactly.
you
Sorry
don't
about
need
that in the back.
20, 30 different.
Yeah, Uniqua.
You know what I'm saying? It
Sorry about
doesn't-
Uniqua in
I
the
just want
back,
to add
y'all.
that.
Yeah.
I feel you though. You're right. You're absolutely right. 100%.
This episode is rated R because of the video selection.
Can we get the joint? Can we get the joint that blocks the
little
We'll do that
pixelated
later.
joint?
Yeah.
We got that.
Nah, you have to
I
talk to
don't-
Mike
yeah,
about that one.
Mike, we got. We
See-
got to ask Mike if we got that
See
in post.
in post production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might catch a teat.
Yeah. Hey, Uniqua was cold though. Don't act like Uniqua wasn't cold. We know what Jay Moore like, but Uniqua was cold. But anyway, I want to talk about this.
She
before
wasn't
we run.
shit though.
Who?
Unique.
Yeah, she wasn't in real life. She wasn't, but she was cold. All right, so I want to talk about this before we wrap it up. I want to talk about Phonte's album.
Oh, okay.
No doubt.
Dope
We gotta talk about
You
Phonte's
gotta let
album.
me borrow it.
No news is good news.
No news is good news.
Oh, my
Phonte,
brother, you got to get your own.
There we go.
foreign exchange, little brother. Listen, man. I'm coming along first. We talked about it. I know Phonte is one of your favorite rappers.
Yeah. Artist.
Artist, period. And I think he can go with anybody lyrically. I'm talking about anybody,
Oh,
in my
certainly.
opinion.
Yeah.
He's
But-
not boring.
This album is not boring. I don't know where y'all getting that shit from. This album is not boring. But yeah, man, like I listened to the album. I've listened to it thoroughly. Now this is just my opinion. We're gonna go around the room. These are the
Okay.
records that stand out to me, right? I saw a poll which I was shocked at, but I kind of see where they were going, but I don't know if it applies to this.
Mhm.
There was a poll on Facebook that says who picks the worst beats. It was Nas. Somebody else was in the middle, and then it was Phonte, and I'm like, Phonte picks the
picking
worst
what?
beats.
Who composed this poll?
I saw the poll. The poll is trash. I can't remember who put it
Who
up.
made
Yeah.
it? Oh,
But-
okay, you don't remember.
That's neither here nor there.
Well,
But
that's
I'm,
the microwave.
that's the microwave. That's maybe that's what it
microwave
is.
journalist. That's what we have right there.
Oh, that's another.
Just
that's
wanted to
another.
have something to talk about.
Well, here's my thing. I got the track list up, right? So we got
Mm-hmm.
To the Rescue, So Help Me God, Pastor 𝗀𝗻𝗄, Expensive Jeans, Cry No More, Such Is Life, Change of Mind, Sweet You,
Yeah, Sweet You.
Find That Love Again, and I think it's Euphorium.
Yeah.
So the joints that I loved, Pastor 𝗀𝗻𝗄 was
Mhm.
cold. Expensive Jeans made me sit down and
Hey,
sit down in my
Jeans
chair
and
and be
the
like,
one following that because them are almost the
Cry
same
No More.
song. Yeah.
Expensive
Yeah.
Jeans made me sit down and be like, damn. he's absolutely right about everything he just said, and all of this can or does apply either to my life or will later if I don't straighten up. Like that was a real eye opener.
It was real shit.
It was a real eye opener.
The song after that I don't know what sample that is. Is that a Peebo Bryson?
Cry No More is
Cry No More is
No,
dope.
not Cry
you
No
talking
More.
about Such Is Life.
Such Is Life.
That is, I want to say, shout out to Brother Tonight because he texted me.
Okay.
I think it is, what's my boy's name? You remember that song Kissing You?
Yeah, I know.
Keith Washington.
Keith Washington.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's a Keith Washington
Hey,
sample.
I love that flip on that song.
To me, that one and Sweet You are my two favorites.
Yeah.
So Such Is Life, Sweet You are my two favorites, and then probably Pastor 𝗀𝗲𝗄 after that. Go.
Well, first of all,
Yes.
I can't just give you songs. I got to talk about it. So
Talk about it. Talk that talk, man.
one thing I wrote. So I sat on this for a day.
All right.
Before I made the post on bringing down the band, and I was like, you know what? I realized that I'm gonna be 35 this year.
Yep.
Phonte has been one of the most important artistic voices of my generation,
Fair
of
enough.
people my age.
Fair enough.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we kind of grew up with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like from early
Little
brother to Foreign Exchange, and he's always had this voice that just kind of spoke to me and my people. You
No
know,
question.
like everybody that I was friends with, he was like one of us.
Yeah.
You know what
Period.
I mean? So this was just another addition to that to me. You know, it was. I like every song on there. I have some that I like more than others.
There are no whack songs on that album.
None.
I agree.
No, it's none at all.
I agree.
My favorite song is Sweet You, Sweet You. Yeah.
Shout out to Tall Black Guy.
Tall Black Guy flipped that crazy. It was funny because I listened to it and I was like, ooh, this is crazy. And I was like, did he sing that and did he flip it? And then I found out Tall Black Guy producer. I was like, he had
Acapella.
to have
got
that stem.
acapella.
He had to have
Yeah,
that stem.
He
to
had the
flip that.
stem.
But
Yeah.
the way the music changed throughout and kept going,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh yeah, this
Amazing production by
that
him.
one. I really like. I like the Euphorium track because of how it starts and then when he starts rapping.
Double time.
And it was just like didn't really necessarily expect that. The Cry No More joint's real cold. I really like the joint with Gibbs too because of again this I like just the way he's singing. just the feel of
Versatility
it
is
and,
shown on that one. Yeah.
You know he did spaz on what was it? So Help Me God was the one where he kind of rapped. A
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah. Where he called people out.
He spazzed on that and
Yeah.
Pastor 𝗀𝗲𝗄.
Yeah,
Like
so,
he bodied those.
I
That's
mean,
like vintage Phonte
but
right
this
there.
and that's the thing with Phonte is like he can give you straight 10 tracks of bars and it'll be the best bars that you'll hear all. Like I still like his clap shit verse on 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏. That shit was the hardest verse of the year to me.
Man, he bodied that mug. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But like he could give that. I would be perfectly happy with just 10 of those. But
Yeah.
but he'll give you his life, you know, and he gives you his life and his growth, and that's
That's
what
a mark of a dope artist, though, which
yeah,
he is.
Yeah, and it's just like, all right, where's Phonte at right now? Well, this is where he's at.
This
He's
is where
newly
he's at
married
right now.
again, you know, and
Lost his pops.
lost his father, you know, and all these
Yeah.
things. So
Yeah.
you know, I really like change of mind too. I really like the premise behind that, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyways.
Gibbs, he switched his flow up on the second 8 and it went with the pianos and the beat in the back. So that shit was dope. I'm coming to you, Terry. I forgot.
I like it.
I actually love the on the Find That Love joint with Eric Roberson.
Mhm.
When he started giving the shout outs and
Oh,
that
yeah.
sample
At
come
the
on in
end.
the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that's cold too. I love
that's-
that.
that's a
Go.
nice stepping
I'm
joint
sorry.
right
Go.
there.
Go ahead.
I just like it as a whole, man.
Step in the name of
Don't do that.
Didn't they have a song called Step in the Name of
on
Love
the
or something?
𝗀𝗲𝗄𝗏 project.
One of them.
Two Step in the Name of Life.
Yeah.
That was it. Okay.
Sorry, it was a random.
That
was
off
related.
That was off
That's
a
all.
minstrel show. That was a little something off a minstrel show. Yeah.
Okay.
We see you stunting, Jay Moore. Go
I'm
ahead,
just
Jay
saying.
Diff.
But no, overall, it's just a really good project to me. It shows that hip hop can evolve. It's one of them projects that shows that you don't have to stop listening to hip hop or have to fit in. Excuse me, to everything else that's coming out.
Yeah.
Because I think of what a lot of people do, they try to remain relevant as far as having an ear by saying they like all the new shit that comes out.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't like all the new shit that comes out. You have to have some kind of filter or something to be like, nah, that's not cool. What's his name? Ray Shrimmer are dope, but they're not Outkast.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta have that type of filter. And to what he was saying, Phonte has grown with us.
Yeah.
So he's rapping about things that we can relate to, because not necessarily that we're going through the same thing, but people around us are going through those same issues. People are getting married. People are getting married for the second time.
Yeah.
People are losing people.
Yeah.
People's health isn't as good as it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dropping gems, and he's giving you just life shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think when I posted about it, I called it New Old Heads theme music. Because to me, it kind of embodies that feeling that I think we all possess.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? We like the sweets, the sugary shit that they drop here and there, but we like that substance too. That's kind of the driving force. If it don't hit me, if I don't feel it, like Chris said,
Right.
I can't rock with it.
I call it meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that's one of the first things I look for on an album when I'm listening to it. Or is it fuck all the surface shit, because that's gonna go without saying. I know what
Right.
you're gonna do. I'm looking for meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a balance?
I
of
need
both?
some substance.
Well,
I need
maybe
some
you
meat
should.
potatoes.
Maybe you should look for something more healthy nowadays, because
Yeah, the meat and potatoes might fuck you up.
Get you some kale and
You know,
some
hey,
quinoa.
A power bowl.
he kind of talked about that a little bit on the album. Didn't
Yeah,
he?
he
No,
did.
He did. I
So I'm
mean,
gonna start. What should I call it then? If I take meat
that
potatoes away,
kale and quinoa move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Kale
saying?
and who?
Quinoa. You don't know about quinoa?
Kiwamu,
Quinoa.
Kingwa.
No, king
is-
like
starts
with
with
a Q.
Q. We're gonna talk.
It looks like
we can-
quinoa.
Yeah,
Quinoa?
That's
yeah,
exactly what
exactly.
it looks like.
Yeah, but
So
it's quinoa.
kale and quinoa.
Quinoa. No,
Look, Mike.
Look.
Go ahead, man. Talk about the album.
All right. One of the things, because it was crazy, because you know, we're at different places, and like, you know, Lone just talked about, you know, getting ready to be crossing into 35. You know, I crossed into 40 last year, and you know,
Grown.
be 41 next month. And the thing is, this is the music I can actually listen to. You know, we talked last year about Jay-Z's 444
Yep.
being,
Yes.
you know, that grown man album. But, you know, as much as I liked that album and I appreciated it, you know, there were things on there, Jay-Z, I just couldn't relate to. I'd love to pass a Basquiat down to my daughter as well, and talk about, man, I should have bought that $2 million building.
I've never seen one.
Should have got
for
that
the
joint
record.
Dumbo.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
know, and I appreciate what he was saying, but at the same time, this is what speaks to me right now,
Yes.
Right.
as a man crossing into his 40s, you know, coming out of a relationship, you know, dealing with, my best friend just lost his mother, and talking about our own mortality,
Yeah.
Right.
and understanding that, you know, we're not children anymore,
Right.
Yeah.
and being okay with that. Like I told somebody, you know, because of course, you know, you guys know I'm out in these clubs just, you know, doing a lot, but at the same time, I understand, like, I'm cool for 40, but at 40, I'm no longer cool,
Right.
because a lot of this stuff, if I have to do my metrics on it, I have to be like, okay, let me go look at Billboard and see why this song, because honestly, this song, it doesn't, there's a lot of this music now, it doesn't speak to me
At
Yeah.
all.
But like, if I'm working in the club and I understand that's where I'm getting my money, okay, we need to hit this song, and this song. Because as much as I love this Phonte record, I know better than to think I'm going to walk into Tiki Bob's and be like, hey, Action Jackson, go ahead and drop this new Phonte.
But to your defense though, and it's actually Alpha Phonte, there's like an interlude in there that says you're only as old as your ability to
mind.
process
Yeah.
information.
Right.
I think you process information pretty well.
Yeah.
You may not like a lot of the shit that's on the radio.
Yeah. So I know why and where it's relevant to me. But like, I remember I made a CD of like all the hot club shit that came out last year for a friend of mine's day after Thanksgiving party. And I'm listening to it on the way as I'm driving back to St. Louis. And I'm like, I can only process that music the way I listen to it in the club. I can only listen to the first minute and a half of each song. I can listen to verse, hook, I don't know how these songs end, because I can't listen to them all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
It's different with this record because I want to hear all three verses.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference between, you know, where honestly what I do to get money is, and, you know, the Phonte record is something I can listen to in my spare time and enjoy and be like, damn, I can't believe it's over.
You can listen to it around family. And that's another thing. Like, what are people playing for their kids? Like,
Yeah.
what are you feeling comfortable playing around your sons and daughters that are the mainstream? You know what I'm saying? How can you sit there and just really drive that into them all the time?
Well, I think that's where
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
Right.
once again, you know, being older and having a different perspective, you know, I'd have to say, okay, just like sometimes you wear your gym shoes, sometimes you gotta put on your good shoes.
Put
You
on
know,
them hard
there's
bottoms.
a time and a place,
Right.
and you have to, you know, like I just, you know, a lot of this stuff right now, as far as like I can't relate to it. Once again, you know, being in my 40s, you know, I can't listen to, you know, somebody rap for an hour about their opioid abuse, you know, their $100,000 car and how icy their wrist is. Like I don't relate to that. I don't understand it. I understand. I like to hear cats talk that fly shit from time to time,
Right.
but it doesn't really do anything for me. You know, this record means something to me. I revisited Charity Starts at Home
I did too.
when I, you know, because
The
like I
day
said,
before.
Which was a damn good album.
like
Yes.
I said, it's talking about man shit like that, you know, dealing with heartbreak of a failed relationship, you know, dealing with the you know, your own mortality, dealing with the, you know, a new relationship, you know, like and when you didn't think after the relationship that ended was anything, you never thought you were going to replace that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
these are the things I can personally relate to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that more people can relate to than can relate to somebody talking about, you know, doing Xannies and the ice out wrist. Like that's fantasy.
Because most
To-
of y'all not doing that
Because
shit
most
anyway.
most people like all
Now,
that
a lot
is,
of these mugs are.
you know.
The artists aren't doing it.
No, they're not. Future told y'all he wasn't.
Yeah, they
know.
ain't doing it, but
So
Yeah,
I
which is
think
corny.
when people rap about these things, these are the records that, you know, just like when people revisit jazz records, 40, you know, they revisit A Love Supreme, and they revisit, you know, James Brown records. Like these are the records, you know, 444, Charity Starts at Home, No News. Like these are the records that people are going to listen to in 40 years and be like, wow, man.
I seen somebody say the Pimp a Butterfly was
I think so
Weak.
because
Was
no
weak.
what
weak, but
To Pimp a
yeah,
Butterfly,
we're
they're
running
gonna
out of time.
they're
but
gonna study that in colleges in 25
it's already
years.
in. I think Ninth Wonder.
Harvard.
Yeah.
Put it in Harvard.
So
Yeah.
I'm just long story short, I love the record. If you love hip hop,
Shouts to Ninth for preserving the
need-
culture.
yeah,
Straight up.
Facts.
you need to get involved with this record, and that's really all there is to that, man.
I can dig it.
I can dig it. So episode 71, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Remember, Coleman Dental, shout out to them, 317-255-8546. BringingDownTheBand.com, all things New Old Heads can be found there. Patreon.com as well, patreon.com/New Old Heads. Join us, rock with us. Starts
No
as
bad
low as
ideas.
$1.
No bad
ideas.
ideas,
We
yeah.
appreciate you. We
And
forgot the hat.
Printfinity.
But
all day.
yeah, Printfinity, Black on We See. Shout out to Mike producing for us.
Red
August. I don't think he be doing anything, but we still like him.
Yeah.
And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
So I says to the bitch.
Yeah.
What you say?
I said, look, if you ain't got no money
I was waiting on that.
for no double stack, then don't come back round
The
here.
double stack.
Hey, shout out to Uniqua. We see you.